Welcome back to a Yellows Walk. Big win against Watford to discuss this week. And also we're looking at the 8 games that Oxford have got left. 4 at home, 4 away. How many points are we going to get from them? We've also asked AI to predict where Oxford are going to finish. You might not like the results of it, so stay tuned for that. Welcome back to Sam, Connor, and of course, Sam. Do follow them all on Twitter if you don't already do so. Sam, that was a much-needed 3 points given all the results going against you recently, wasn't it?
There were so many bits about that on Saturday that we needed. It was performance we needed. It was a result we needed. And it was the atmosphere we needed. There was a real, aliveness, a real kind of sense of... It was interesting, kind of similar to kind of playoff games or games we had earlier in the campaign where we felt, this is getting quite tricky. We need to get behind the boys. We need to make it a really intimidating atmosphere for Watford to walk into. And yeah, obviously it wasn't the best of games, but key moments, obviously Ricky Dembele, who I did find it quite funny that Rout said he was going to bring off just before he scored. Obviously it's a brilliant goal. And yeah, thankfully we've got that 3 points to stop the rot.
Yeah, I saw lots of abuse. Well, no abuse. I saw lots of people saying, Ricky Dembele, what does he give us? He needs to be lumped off, and then shut a lot of people up. We'll get your views on that in a minute. Let's look at these fixtures then, shall we? 8 at home, 8 away. Let's go straight into it. And yeah, are Oxford going to survive? We all obviously hope they do, because you're given this division something very different, Connor. Let's do the home games first of all, shall we? Which many people are saying, oh my gosh, it's like the worst possible set of fixtures here. Sheffield United at home, QPR at home, Leeds United at home, Sunderland at home. How many points out of them for?
On paper, I think that on paper you're looking at maybe 1, but I'm still convinced that knowing this club, that a rabbit's going to be pulled out of the hat somewhere. Like, we're not going to pick up points where we're expected to, and we'll pick up a couple points or 3 points somewhere where we're absolutely not expected.
Like you'll shock Sunderland or something like that, you mean, on the last home game? Yeah, okay. Sam, let's look at the away games then. So Borough, who are a bit indifferent at the moment, Sheffield Wednesday, who are still got a chance of playoffs, Cardiff, that's going to be a huge game, and then Swansea, which will probably be a dead rubber for them at the end of the season. How many out of 12 do you see for them?
Well, I think obviously we have to target Cardiff as a win. But it's a championship, anyone can beat anyone on the day. That's the nature of this league. So yeah, I agree with Connor that we could pull something out of the hat away. I think the home games are massive for us. Just have to try and back him like we did Saturday, because a crowd on side at the Kassam really does get the place rocking.
Yeah. We asked AI how many more points Oxford are going to pick up. Let's have a look. So weirdly, and I don't know how they've managed to do this, but they said you're going to lose every single one of the remaining 8 games and stay on the 42 points you're already on now. And I'm not making this up. This is from ChatGPT. Try it yourself. And they reckon you're going to be relegated and not win a single another point for the rest of the season. Sam, your response to that?
Yeah, well, I think we'll start with the fact that the idea that Luton are going to pick up in more points than us is maybe a little bit fanciful at this moment in time, given that they're looking very wasteful. That Premier League quality really isn't doing anything for Luton at this moment. But I'm under no illusion that it's obviously going to be a very difficult run-in. And obviously the 3 points we picked up against Watford was huge, given obviously the fact that Derby picked up another big win. They're obviously on a resurgent run, a big win, I think, for Cardiff as well. They beat Blackburn. So, teams around us are picking up big points. So we need to kind of stay around them and, make sure we're keeping ahead of them.
Yeah. If it makes you feel any better, I had to go at it myself using worldfootball.net, and I had you safe by 1 point. I gave you another 4 points, which is what Connor, I think, gave you as well. You take that now, wouldn't you, Connor? I'd imagine.
Yeah.
All right. Let's jump straight into this. Let's go back in time. and talk about the week that just was. Sam, interesting midweek game for you. Let's go through that. First of all, what do we learn about Oxford from the midweek game?
But like again, it was a game I felt anyway we could target as a win. Go toe to toe with a team around us, and we didn't do that again for whatever reason. We just didn't do that.
Well, what is it about playing these teams? This is a question to all of you. Every time you seem to have this big game against a relegation rival, you seem to freeze. Any ideas why?
I think maybe it's got to do with the setup. Because if you look at the way we set up against Hull, it was more defensive, but then route against Watford goes a lot more attacking, a lot more positive. I don't know, like Connor, if you reckon the same. It's a weird thing that route seems to do.
I don't know, because at home we seem to have been very, very good against relegation rivals. I think it still comes down to that away. The away form just isn't. It's just been horrendous this season, and it might be something to do with, as Sam says, the way that he's setting up, because the way that we set up this week was very different to how we set up at Hull. At Hull, it looked like once Hellick got that goal, went even more defensive. Like, right, let's go as defensive and as contained as we can. Whereas from the off, looking from the lineup this weekend, you can see that Rowett wanted to go for it. So it's a bit hit and miss sometimes what he's doing, where he has a game plan for away from home and then a game plan at home, which is good that we have multiple systems and multiple ways of playing. But I think that sometimes it's got to be when to use those different systems and at what points from the game, and managing it very well. Which, to give Rowett his credit, he did it very, very well this weekend and got the points. And it's going to be needed even more in these home games, because as we've just gone through, they are absolutely horrific.
Yeah, it's a shame you didn't hang on against Hull, because you would have been 15th and on joint points with QPR, and just fine margins, isn't it, in this league? And that's really what it comes down to. But yeah, let's have a look at some tweets from the game. Isaac says, "Sorry, Isaac, you appear on here every week, but your tweets are usually reflective of the fan base. Absolutely massive. Gary got it right today with the team selection. What a difference 3 points makes." KM says, "Huge win." Harris gets a lot of stick for his hold-up play, Sam, but that touch right before the goal really made that chance for Dembele. Great result, and on to the next. How's he been doing, Harris? Sam?
Yeah, I've really impressed with work rate, actually. Saturday, it was like his old self again, being a nuisance, being a menace. He never gave the defence a minute to breathe. It was like the Mahrez that we know.
Yeah. Sam, you agree?
Yeah, absolutely. I thought it's very much one of those sparky performances in the lead up to the goal where he gets absolutely, taken out by a Watford man, but he managed to get the pass off to Siriki Dembele. And like Sam said, it's a case of, he was running after there were a lot of dangerous back passes, and the Watford defence put into their keeper, which, Harris is going to latch onto those. And he doesn't do it as frequently as I would like him to, but it's one of those things where just ask the question. I say it time and time and time again when I'm in the stands or watching on telly. Ask the question, because you're going to force the keeper to make a decision. And sure, 9 out of 10 times you might, put it out to a man on the out wide for his side. But, that one at a time, you might end up creating a goal scoring opportunity for yourself.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Middlesbrough next then, Connor. Now, Oxford had this habit of new managers coming in. There's rumours potentially you won't be facing Carrick by the time you get there. Would you want that or not? By the time you get to the Riverside in 2 weeks time.
The sensible person in me is saying that it will make absolutely no difference given how we perform away from home.
Okay,
that's probably the truth. And the other truth is, again, it probably won't make a difference, because we'll probably still go and set up how we usually do. Very, very looks to be very defensively solid. It won't really matter, if I'm honest, Mark. It won't make much difference whatsoever.
Okay. Some people I haven't used them, but people are commenting on how boring the football is, even though it's effective. We'll perhaps talk more about that next week. But next week, join us, because we are talking about the players out of contract for the Yellows. So join us for that as we ask Sam and Connor to talk about who stays and who goes, as of course we're in international break. Join us in 7 days for that. And if you haven't yet done so, do drop a subscribe, and Chris will drop a quick like. Trying to get to 100 subscribers. That'd be amazing. thank you for helping us. Thank you, guys, and we'll see you in 7 days' time.